Good morning, guys. How are you today? We will continue our lesson about the motion in one direction. And we will learn the average speed, the law of average speed, and the relative speed. First, we will know the meaning of average speed. It's the total distance covered by the moving object divided by the total time taken to cover this distance. It's the total distance covered by the moving object divided by the total time taken to cover this distance. So, in the average speed, the object moves many distance and many time at many time. So, if you want to know the law of average speed, who can tell me from the definition how can we know the law of average speed? Yes, excellent. If we want to calculate the average speed, we will make the total distance which covered by the moving object divided the total time. And if we look at the symbol of average speed, we will see that the symbol is V dash. To differentiate between the symbol of speed, which is V, and the average speed, which its symbol is V dash. So, to calculate the average speed, we will make the total distance which covered by the moving object divided the total time. And the average speed has the same unit of speed, which is meter per second or kilometer per hour. And we will make many exercises about how can we solve the problems about the average speed in the next session. The relation between the average speed and the regular speed, we can know this relation by knowing and understand this definition. The regular speed by which the object moves to cover the same distance at the same period of time, we can say that the object in this state moves with regular speed because it covers the same distance at the same period of time. And if we calculate the average speed in this state, by which the object moves to cover same distance at the same period of time, the average speed, its value will be equal the value of regular speed. Again, if the object moves same distance at the same period of time, the value of average speed will be equal the value of regular speed. Now, we will talk about the relative speed. What is the meaning of relative speed? It's the speed of a moving object relative to the observer. It's the speed of a moving object relative to the observer. What meant by the observer? The observer means who look if you stand and looking for a moving object like moving a car or a bike or a man, You called in this state observer. And if you moving with speed and looking for moving object like a car or bike or man, you called in this state observer. So the observer who looking for the moving object, whatever the observer is at rest or in motion, who looking for a moving object, called the observer. If we want to calculate the relative speed and the observer is at rest, the relative speed in this state will equal the real speed of a moving object. For example, if you stand in a side of the road and look for a moving car, you can see this car with a speed higher than its real speed or lower than its real speed, or you can see it with its real speed. Yes, excellent. You can see the moving car with its real speed. If this car moves with a speed 5 meters per second, so you can see this car moves by 5 meters per second. You can see the moving car with its real speed. هنشوفها بسرعتها الحقيقية، السرعة الفعلية اللي هي بتتحرك بيها. But if the observer is moving in the same direction of the moving object and with different speed, the observer and the moving object, both of them moving in the same direction, but each of them has its own speed. الاتنين الobserver والmoving object ماشيين in the same direction في نفس الاتجاه، لكن كل واحد فيهم ليه سرعته المختلفة. We can calculate the relative speed in this state by making the object's speed minus the observer's speed. The object's speed minus the observer's speed. But if the observer is moving in the opposite direction of the moving object with different speed, we can calculate the relative speed by making the object's speed plus the observer's speed. Now, be attention please. In state number 2, the two objects move with the same direction but different speed. So if they move in the same direction, we will make the object's speed minus the observer's speed. But if they move in opposite direction, we will make the object's speed plus the observer's speed. Opposite direction we will make plus, same direction we will make minus between the two speeds. Okay, the final state, if the observer is moving in the same direction with the moving object at the same speed. The observer and the moving object, both of them move in the same direction and the same speed. We can calculate the relative speed by making the difference between the two speeds as state number 2. We said that if the two objects move at the same direction, we will make minus. Okay, but in this state, they moving in the same direction with the same speed. Same direction, we will make minus. And the same speed. So, for example, if the observer moves at a speed 5 meters per second and the moving car moves at a speed 5 meters per second, because they are equal in the same speed and in the same direction, so we will make difference between the two speeds. So 5 minus 5 equals 0. So the relative speed in this state must be 0 because we will make difference between the two speeds of the two objects. And we will make exercise and solve it in the next session. Finally, I hope all of you understand this lesson and thank you for listening.